Good morning, TikTok. Today I wanted to talk to you about the International Court of Justice and the complaint brought by South Africa against Israel. I figured I am a criminal defense attorney. I should talk a little bit about the law. Now, the case of genocide is being brought by South Africa against, oddly enough, Israel, who is the country that precipitated the inception of the Genocide Convention. So, but for the events of World War II, Nazi Germany, Hitler, and the Holocaust, this wouldn't even exist. But because of that, it does. And Israel is being accused of the same thing that precipitated the founding of this international law. Now, joining South Africa in this is Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Cuba, Iran, Turkey, Venezuela, as well as Bangladesh, Egypt, Honduras, Iraq, Jordan, Libya, Malaysia, Namibia, Pakistan, and Syria. And some of you might be wondering as to, South Africa is not really involved in the battle, so how are they able to do this? In the law, we call it some sort of standing, what gives you the ability to bring the action. And in this case, there's a case precedent in Myanmar where a third party was able to bring genocide actions against the Myanmar genocide, and it was a third party. So the case precedent is what gives these cases the ability to be brought against Israel by a country that is not involved directly in the conflict. So the main allegations by South Africa are twofold. One of them is that they are currently committing genocide, and that's one allegation. And the other allegation is that they are doing nothing to prevent genocide. And I believe that the South African president was quoted saying that the forcible displacement of 85% of Gaza people and refusal to allow food, water, medicine, and electricity is tantamount to genocide. By way of procedure, this case started October 30th, 2023, where South Africa International Relations called on Israel to stop doing what they're doing and asked the international community to please stop or at least allow for a ceasefire. On November 7th, it was stated that the crime of genocide looms large and that this had happened in 1994 and that they wouldn't let it happen again. And in 1994 is when it happened in Africa. And on November 10th, there was a formal complaint filed with the ambassador of the State of Israel to South Africa, advising him that they condemned the actions. November 13th, they had requested a meeting with the Israeli leadership at the South African embassy in Israel. And my understanding is that they were rebuffed the entire way, which led to the 17th of November, South Africa filing a complaint against Israel. Now, Israel has replied calling this blood libel, and I'll get into what blood libel is in a moment, and claiming that they're going to defend it. And they've hired the most disgraced defense attorney in the country at this point in Alan Dershowitz. So I guess between flights to Epstein Island, he's going to make his way to The Hague to defend this case in a case where he's never defended an international criminal case before. So this should be kind of funny, actually. And Israel uses the phrase blood libel, something that they like to use to determine that what you're saying is so vile that you are trying to poison the blood, right? So like calling Palestinians human animals would absolutely be blood libel if they were to ascribe blood libel to any other people other than themselves, but they don't. So they're calling it blood libel basically because the Jews went through the Holocaust. And you're saying, oh, we went through the Holocaust and now you're using the Holocaust against us, when in reality, it's not blood libel because what they're doing is a genocide. And all they're doing is deflecting and detracting. They are literally doing the thing, and they understand that it's being viewed as so vile. They're self-aware enough to realize that they have to deny it. And they have to deny it vociferously, doth protest too much, methinks, if you know what I'm talking about. So those denials are always old and silly and stupid, and they're kind of interesting, but they typically happen. They've done this with the Palestinian organ stealing, and they've done this with many other things they say they didn't do, and then Israeli doctors and things like that come out and prove that indeed they did do these things. But let's get back to the point of the complaint in the International Court of Justice. So the allegations are that there has been a repugnant amount of language used by the Israeli leadership that has clearly shown that there has been intent to displace, murder, and remove Palestinians from the region. And as a result, it's genocidal intent. And genocidal intent can be proven by any of the Israeli Foreign Ministry's statements. South Africa cites various things, including the slaughter of civilians prior to the October 7th date, leading up to that, and the constant bombardment of the Gaza Strip over the separation fence. Back to the statements that are cited, you have statements by Yoav Gallant saying things like, "We will destroy Gaza, we are fighting human animals, we will act accordingly, and we will eliminate everything. They will regret it." With, of course, Netanyahu saying and invoking the Amalek biblical story. I laugh because I don't know that he knows it. So coupled with the violent rhetoric, the endless bombardment and murder of the Palestinian civilians, and it's clear to everybody in the world but the United States, South Africa has decided to proceed with the International Court of Justice complaint under those two theories that I stated earlier. And 10th and 11th, I believe, are when the hearings are going to be held and arguments will be made. You'll get to see the allegations that have been put into the 84-page complaint against Israel by South Africa and various other nations. So please let me know what you think. I'm happy to discuss this with you, and I'll probably be updating you on the International Court of Justice case, facts, and issues as they arise.